The night the stars fell silent. They told us the stars had voices. Growing up, Mama said they hummed softly at night. If you listen carefully, I sound like distant whispers, always there but easy to miss. That night, they didn't just go quiet. They vanished. It started with the air. Something about it felt wrong, heavy, like when you're about to hear bad news. I was sitting outside with my cousin, Obi. It was a dry season night in our small village, the kind where the sky is so clear it feels like you can reach up and pluck a star. We were waiting for Papa to come back from the farm when it happened. Obina was the first to notice. He squinted at the sky and elbowed me. Nkem, why are they blinking like that? I followed his gaze and my stomach tightened. The stars weren't just blinking, they were flickering like flames struggling to stay lit. Maybe clouds, I said, but my voice shook. There were no clouds. The silence was the next thing I noticed. The crickets, the frogs, even the distant drum beats from the village square, everything stopped at once. It wasn't like they faded. It was instant, like someone had pressed a switch. Obina grabbed my arm. His fingers were cold and trembling. Let's go inside, he whispered. I wanted to argue, to tell him he was being foolish, but my legs wouldn't move. My eyes were glued to the sky, and then the stars went out. One by one, they disappeared, not like clouds covering them. They died, snuffed out, leaving only patches of darkness. Within seconds, the entire sky was pitch black. Not even the moon remained. It was like someone had thrown a giant black cloth over the world. I grabbed Obino's hand. Run! We stumbled into the house, breathing hard. Mama was inside, sitting on her mat. She looked at us and frowned. What's wrong with you two? I pointed to the window. The stars, Mama, they're gone. She didn't laugh like I thought she would. Instead, her face went pale and she made the sign of the cross. She muttered something under her breath and got up to lock the door. You heard the tale of Ogwugu? She asked us. We shook our heads. It's a story from before my time, she said. Her voice was low, almost like she was afraid to say it too loud. They say when the stars go silent, the land has angered the spirits. It's a warning, a sign to stay inside. No matter what you hear, no matter what calls your name, you don't go out. As if on cue, there was a knock on the door. It wasn't a loud knock, just a soft, deliberate tap. Obina and I froze. Mama held a finger to her lips, signaling for us to stay quiet. The knock came again. And then a voice. Nkem. My blood turned to ice. It was Papa's voice. Nkem, open the door. It's me. I stood up without thinking. Mama grabbed my arm and yanked me back down. That's not your father, she hissed. But shut your mouth, she whispered harshly. Her grip was tight and her eyes burned with fear. The voice came again. Why won't you open the door? It's not here. I wanted to believe it was him. I wanted to open the door, but something happened. The way he spoke was off. It was flat, too perfect, like a recording of his voice. Mama started to pray. Her words quick and shaky. Obina clung to my arm like a scared child. Though he was only a year younger than me, the knocking grew louder, more insistent. He came, open the door. Why are you hiding from me? Then it wasn't just one voice anymore. There were others, women, children, old men. They all called my name. Their voices layered on top of each other, echoing in a way that didn't sound human. Mama's prayers got louder, but her voice cracked. She was shaking so hard I thought she might pass out. And then the voices stopped. For a moment, there was silence again, so thick I could hear my heartbeat. I thought it was over until the scratching began. It was faint at first, like fingernails dragging across the wood, but it got louder, more frantic, until it sounded like claws tearing at the door. Obina started crying. I wanted to cry too, but my throat was too dry. We sat there huddled together until the scratching finally stopped. The silence returned, but this time it was suffocating. Mama didn't let us move until the first hint of light appeared in the sky. When she finally unlocked the door, we found scratches all over the wood, deep and jagged, like something with claws had tried to tear its way in. Papa came home later that morning. He was covered in dirt, his clothes torn, and it looked like he hadn't slept in days. When we told him what happened, he said he'd gotten lost in the bush, even though he knew the paths better than anyone. That night, the stars returned, but they didn't hum. They haven't hummed since.